the question is about supporting students' home language and culture under the mandate. I want to suggest that the way to do that is by following law and policy. And to preface that, I want to just say that when 2064 came along, we did a lot of work around 203 in contextualizing it, and it has the provisions for waivers, et cetera. But this one I saw is, I'm out of here. I mean, they're going to fire me or something. And so I actually spent a year just in consternation about it. And then I found this form. It's called Parent Request for Withdrawal from Program. Now the thing is, when you go to the state trainings, they don't mention this form, and they don't mention the little tiny citing at the bottom. The citing at the bottom, I'm going to talk about two things real briefly. The citing at the bottom is to federal law. And there's a couple of things I'm going to read from that federal law. Not later than 30 days after the beginning of the school year, inform a parent or parents of a limited English proficient child, identify for participation in or participating in such program of, and then it lists those things that you need to tell them. The method of instruction used in the program in which their child is or will be participating, and the method of instruction used in other available programs, including how such programs differ in content, instructional goals, and use of English and a native language in instruction. The specific exit requirements for such program, the expected rate of transition from such program into classrooms that are not tailored for limited English proficient children. Parents have rights, detailing the right that parents have to have their child immediately removed from such program upon their request, and the options that parents have to decline to enroll their child in such program or to choose another program or method of instruction if available, and in assisting parents in selecting among various programs and methods of instruction. This is federal law, folks. It's right at the bottom of the form on the ADE website of parent withdrawal. Now, I think the first step that we have to do as practitioners is figure out where we are in principle. And we really know our stuff, because I clearly have a bias. But I think before that, so I'm working out a principle. Yours might be different. I just want to suggest that you find what that is and start there and back it up. The second document that I printed 2 hours ago from the ADE website, it's called the Foreign and Native Language Standards. And in the preface to that, it has the rationale. The foreign language, is going to cite a couple of things from that document. The foreign language standards state what students need to know about languages and cultures, including their own. The integration of foreign languages into the rest of the curriculum so that the connections are clear and so that learning in all areas is facilitated, including the development of a deeper understanding of one's own language and culture. In these standards, we refer to the target language, which may stand for world language, foreign language, second language, or heritage language, i.e. the language that is the predominant language in the home. So the question about what we can do to support students in their native language is in law. And what I think it calls upon us to do is to study that and have those conversations, have those meetings that are required by law without bias with parents about what their options are and the choices are. And when we did that, given we've got a 19-year history of dual language program, parents know our language programs. So we did that we presented the 4-hour model in a very different way than I'm talking about it now. But in the primary grades themselves, we had over 100 parents withdraw their students from the program. And what amazed me was their primary concern wasn't the segregation. It was loss of content. A lot of them said, my child knows English. I don't want them to be missing math or missing social studies or science. So that's part of my answer.
I will kind of add to that, and that when they're talking about the method of instruction, the way we handle that at our school is for, particularly for kindergarten registration, we present the 3 different models that we offer, program models that we offer at our school. which would be our mainstream program, which the instruction is 100% taught in English. We have our dual language program, which the instruction is 50% taught in Spanish and 50% taught in English daily. And then we have our ELD program, which is the 4-hour model. And then parents have that choice. And I think that's important, is that we provide choices for them. The majority of the students in our dual language program opted to complete the withdrawal of services program because the parents there, not only did they want their children to have the content, as John has said, but they also wanted to make sure that their children did not lose their native language as they learn the second language, which is English. And then the students who are come from English homes, they don't even have to, they have the choice. They don't have to fill out a letter of withdrawal. They just say, this is the program that I would like to have my child in. And for them, their program options would be the mainstream program or the dual language program. And many of them choose our dual language program.
At the high school level, we only have 2 programs. We either have the mainstream program or you have the state 4-hour model program. How we help kids with their culture is we look at prior knowledge and common interests, because we're not looking at just 2 languages where I'm at. We look at all different things. So we have many different cultures. So we try to have them look at the commonalities between the different cultures and what they can relate, and using their prior knowledge, what they know from their culture, how is it similar to our culture. But if you even looked at some of the dictionaries that we have for our kids, I mean, when you look at a Burmese or a Karen dictionary or an Arabic dictionary, just the alphabet is totally different. So it's hard for those kids. And then we do, if a kid doesn't pass the Azella, but they've passed the Ames test, and we have those kids who have passed Ames, writing and reading and math, and for some reason they didn't pass the Azella. But if any of you, part of your education thing should be to do the Azella test, because the listening portion to it, I wouldn't pass, because I would fall asleep. So it's very boring and it just shuts kids down. But I know one of the things that we've gotten around is that they want kids in 4 hours. We have kids who come to us who speak 4 and 5 languages and, excel at mathematics. So we have taken the hit from the state in being out of compliance, because I have a kid who's in honors algebra 3-4, is in honors chemistry, honors physics, and we just take the hit on it because that's all we can do. But they're not in the 4-hour mark, because we err on the side of the students.
Just from a teacher standpoint, and I'm thinking small here, I'm thinking within the classroom, some of the things we do to celebrate and encourage the L1, the first language, is just, part of it is choosing literature that supports many different cultures and languages. There's a lot of good literature, and I'm not just talking about English, Spanish, but that there's, many different cultures are shown through literature. I know the state would die if I said this, but there are books that have code switching, families going back and forth between English, Spanish. Even choosing authors that children can identify makes a huge difference. It shows what you value in the classroom. And as a staff, a couple years ago, we did a staff literature study with Victor Villaseñor's Burro Genius. It's a memoir of his experience going to public school, I don't know if it was even public schools, going into school as a Spanish speaker. And we're actually going to have him at our school this year. So I think even things like that, when you're choosing authors to come into the school, choosing curriculum for the school, culture and language should be there at the front of your thoughts. And also, a few years back, we did a group study of some of Louise Moll's work in Funds of Knowledge. And basically, it's looking at children not just as, what they get, what their grades are, but every child, every human being that walks into that classroom has gifts, talents, something to offer the classroom. So part of our role as teachers is we're looking at what every child can offer, and we look at everyone as teachers pretty much. So I think when you get away from just looking at kids based on grades and look at who they are and what they offer, it just creates an attitude of acceptance for like the whole child.